I want to get this on camera.
You want to get it on camera?
Yeah,
All
so
right,
I want to send this to YouTube.
That's fair, that's fair. Well, here is your gear shift. So it's currently in neutral. You want to push it into forwards or reverse?
Just go forward.
You want to go forward? This is going to be a really, really hard shot. There you go. Nice job. And here is your throttle. It's with your hand, not with your foot. And so you want to crank it over here. How fast do you want to go?
Let's go notch 4. So
Notch 4? Okay, not too fast. I like that.
1, 2,
Responsible.
3, 4. There we go.
Alright, so you're currently going 20 miles an hour because each notch goes an additional 5. What now? Well, you're already going at a pretty steady speed. So how about this? This over here is just the gate handle. That's just for opening and closing the gate. Nothing too special. But over here is something really important. Here's your air brake. So, do you know what an air brake is?
Yes.
Yes, nice. So then you push this and it goes, psh, right? But in an emergency, if this thing hasn't built up enough pressure, right, you might want to use your emergency brake. And not to mention, I told this gentleman earlier over here, but the streetcar that you're in right now is really heavy. Weighs about 48,000 pounds. And so, that's just by itself, by the way. No passengers, nothing. So imagine you have a full load of passengers, all with luggage, all with their children, and you're going downhill, right? Maybe because in San Francisco, we're not really well known for our flat terrain, so it's very possible that you can go downhill, maybe at a faster speed. You're going pretty reasonable, so I say there's no real need for this emergency handle quite yet. But in any case that you do need to use it because it's just so heavy and so fast, you want to pull it this way. But here's the thing, it's so heavy that it might try to fight back and it might try to unwound. And so, how do you fight against this? You fight against it with your arm and your foot. So you stick your foot right over here against this mechanism, and you keep pushing it against, and what you'll notice about the teeth is that it will lock the brake, and so it won't go backwards or it won't unwound. So in any emergency, you can just make it tighter and tighter and tighter until you deem the emergency over, and there's no chance of this thing being able to fall back.
Very cool.
Emergency over. You pull the brake off. There you go. Emergency over.
I've seen this.
Those are the electrics. Would you like to give me a hand with those?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll see if I can.
All right. Oh, this steps over here.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Pull it to the left. There you go. Now the lights are off. And now you need to turn it back on. That's where the real issue comes. A little more juice, a little more power, more. Push more. There you go. Yeah, I heard it.
There we go.
And so, what did you just notice?
Lights are on.
Okay, that's true, but what did you notice about the lever itself?
Lever is stuck on the on position.
Well, it should be stuck on any position. But it was very easy for you to turn it off, wasn't it? But it was very hard for you to turn it on, huh?
Yeah.
So the reason for that is that this entire streetcar is running on 600 volts DC. And so, in any case, if you are playing around with any of the electrics equipment, you touch something, you could probably fry yourself. Apologies. So, over here, you're going to notice that the roof is a very lovely cream. It's not a gray, it's not a black, it doesn't conceal anything. All of the dust will be on display. All the dirt, soot, ash, bird poop, any blemishes will be on that roof because it's such a bright color. But back then, they really cared about their image, about keeping things clean. And so, very often, maybe at like the end of the line or back at the car house, they would have a guy climb onto the roof and they would clean the roof very frequently to make it very sparkly, very shiny, very clean. The unfortunate downside of that is that a lot of the equipment on the roof conducts electricity. So a lot of those components are metal, and when you turn it off, everything's fine. Whole streetcar shuts down. When you turn it back on, the entire streetcar becomes live. That includes the roof. And so a lot of the components on the roof, which most likely you would be touching or nearby, you would probably get zapped. And if you aren't fast enough in any case, you might be able to touch for a really long time, and that might really injure you, might cause a heart attack, you could die even. And so that's what that was for. You notice it was very difficult for you to turn it on to remind you that there's a reason why you need to be careful when turning the switch on. Kind of like a "are you sure" kind of prompt to double check if you really want to commit to that. Which is a really nice little safety feature, sort of easy way to remind you, hey, why is this so stiff, right? That's the electrics for you to, I guess, play around or not to play around, I suppose. And behind you is a very lovely original fare box down below. There you go. This is supposed to count the tickets. So this lovely man over here would be our conductor. Earlier, you actually learned the functions of the motorman. The motorman also being known as the driver. But that's like calling the captain of a ship a driver of a boat. That's not really proper, is it? So you have to often call him the motorman. And this over here, the conductor would have separate duties from the motorman. He would be more so dealing with passengers and tickets, and so on and so forth. So, what he would do, he would dish out tickets. Here are 2 coins. Please take them. And then insert them into this fare box.
You just drop them in?
Yeah, drop them anywhere you want. So the bell is there for 2 purposes. One, it's for an audio check for the conductor to make sure that he heard you put in the coins. But the second reason is that if you were to put in a fake coin by any chance, maybe it's a paperweight, maybe it's made out of card, it probably wouldn't ring as loudly. It would probably make a different sound, or it wouldn't even ring at all because it's too light. And so, in that case, he would probably know that you put in a phony coin, probably ask you for a real one. And now, since you put in your real coins, I want you to push down on this lever over here and watch this. Oh, all the coins got eaten. And over here we have a counter. It has not gone up quite yet. I want you to crank this for a really long time. So you put in 10 cents, so it should go by 10. More, a little more. 80, more, 85. Okay. Oh, that's it, yeah. You put in 10 cents, and it registered that you gave 10 cents. And so then I give you 1 ticket. Because back then, 10 cents was enough for a ticket. Would you believe it?
Inflation, am I right?
Am I right, guys? Well, speaking of inflation, I need you to pay something else. You didn't follow the law earlier, so I need you to pay me $100. Equivalent in modern days.
Oh,
so,
no.
I want you to read this. Do you know what this means?
Yes.
Yeah, no spitting. Absolutely no spitting. Expectoration. So, back then, there were numerous reasons for why someone would spit. I mean, it's so common in Wild Western movies for a guy to spit in a bucket, right, in a spittoon, with his tobacco in his mouth. Well, this was still a prevalent issue all the way up until the 1900s, all the way to 1920s even, persisted for a really long time. I mean, this streetcar specifically would be 1911, but this law was in effect for quite a while, simply because people would spit all over. They have silver spit, which is your regular spit. You'd have your green, yellow spit, which is your sick spit, and you'd have brown spit, which is the spit from tobacco. And you would have red spit. From Chinese and Indians, they would chew this kind of berry called betel nut, and it was supposed to give them caffeine. However, it did cause cancer in the mouth, just the same as tobacco. So what a lovely thing to put into your body. And they would spit that all over the floor, and it would turn a bloody red. And so you'd have pretty much a rainbow of colors on the floor, a sticky rainbow of colors. And, of course, no streetcar company wanted that because they wanted to keep it clean. Like I mentioned with the roof, they wanted to keep it white, they wanted to keep the floor shiny as well. And so, they would fine you about the equivalent of $100 to $500 today if you were to spit inside. And if you were to spit outside too, no spitting outside either. Because this is a streetcar, you're out in the street, and people are walking out in the street. And so if you spit out the window, some poor guy might hit a stray, right in the face at the worst, or maybe at his feet, right? He steps in it, grows. It was generally just bad etiquette, right? And so you get fined, or you probably put in jail if you resisted to pay your fee. And it supposedly works so well because we don't really have this law anymore. I mean, it's still technically within effect, but socially it's no longer acceptable for you to spit anywhere. And it's not really a common issue much anymore. You don't really go outside and see spit all over the floor. Well, at least I hope you don't. But, yeah, it worked so well, I guess, because it was so expensive for anyone to pay, because who would pay a ticket of $100 to $500 for just spitting, right? You'd simply, it's so easy to avoid it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, thank goodness it's no longer an issue. But, I mean, that's not to say that there are other humanly fluids all over the streets nowadays, so you win some, you lose some. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, times have changed. But yeah, I think that's really about it that I can teach. Actually, no, there isn't. Something else I didn't show you. Check this out.
Oh.
Different kind of bell. And so earlier, did I show you the bell down here?
No.
No? Okay, step on that. Stomp on that thing right there. Yes, stomp on it. Isn't that lovely? And so you'd usually do that to clear people out of the way, right? But since you were going so slowly, I didn't tell you to actually ring that because there's no need. Everyone would have gotten out of the way by the time that you reached them. But over here, this would have another function. The bell over there would have another function. So it was used for communication. So the conductor, he would be all the way on the other side of the streetcar. Meanwhile, the motorman was at the front working all his stuff, and he was very busy. His hands were busy because he was trying to look straight, look on the road, trying to pay attention. Meanwhile, of course, he can't take over the duties of passengers because that's what the conductor would do. But the conductor would have to deal with the passenger's requests. Like if a passenger wanted to stop at the next station, they would have to tell the conductor to do it for them. Nowadays, you actually have a wire for you to pull directly next to your seat. But that's back then, that wasn't the case. They didn't trust you enough to do that, I suppose. And so you had to tell the conductor to do it for you. And so he would ask for a next stop. He would ring once, but the driver would also have to acknowledge his command. And so you, in return, would respond with the same amount of rings. And so I want you to ring it once for me, please, because I just rang it for you once. Nice. And for example, let's say you are an irresponsible driver, which I don't believe you are, but let's say, for example, you went too fast and you overshot your platform. In this case, you would have to ring 4 times to back up slowly. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you would respond with the exact same, acknowledging his command, and then you will fulfill it. So go ahead, give 4. Nice. And that was pretty much how they communicated back then. Same goes for trains too. Trains also have the same system because if you're in the brake coach all the way in the back and the driver's all the way in the front, how do you communicate? You communicate by bells. And same with ships too. They would communicate with people underneath, operating the pistons. The captain would tell them to, like the wheelhouse using the Titanic, they would move that and it would ring a certain amount of times and that lets them know to shift, right? Or nowadays even, they still kind of have a tradition where they carry on from that. So using bells and sounds is always a way for you to communicate to people around you and also to the crew of among your own staff what to do. Like for example, you might see a ferry nowadays out in San Francisco. You might hear 3 short hoots, and that actually means that it's reversing. If you hear 1 long one, I believe that means you're moving forward. And if you hear 6 short ones, that means danger, imminent crash, basically, move out of the way. Which is very rare. I don't hear that pretty often, but I hope not to. But yeah, all these bells and sounds, they usually mean a certain thing, especially if you go on the cable car too. If you go on the cable car nowadays, they still use the same bell system. If you want to take a close look at this. Most of the time, I always hear them use the 2 rings. That usually means if they stop, right, 3, or if they mean go ahead, it would be 2, and then the guy in the front would always acknowledge with 2 bells, like you would now. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've told you pretty much everything I know.
Oh yeah, and I also seen this, which is the destination signboard.
Oh yeah, you want to go on the other side? So that crank right over there is to operate the sign. And so if you were to move it like this, okay, like this. And so a lot of these destinations, they no longer exist, sadly. They are either replaced by bus services, or the station closed down because it wasn't profitable enough, or general stuff with railways that they'd often close down for any particular reason that they can find. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to drive into the ocean, so maybe that was a reasonable choice to close down the station. The ocean, of course, meant that you would stop around the pier and that kind of stuff. These people second next car, ferries, right, which we're around.
We're going to a pool.
Car house, run to the pool, yeah, Golden Gate Park. That still exists, thank goodness. The depot, Market Street only, which is right outside our museum. In fact, most of our fleet only runs on Market Street, so they would have that sign up most of the time, but they should. Stadium, that still exists, that's where the Giants play very often. J9.
North Pole.
North Pole, yeah, so, do you think this is a real station that no longer exists?
Nah, I don't.
No, that's true. You're right. We just kind of put this one just for fun. But yeah, North Pole doesn't exist. Do you think this one exists?
Probably not, but I'm pretty sure for some people it's probably just dating things.
Dating things, you're very right. So here's the thing. While this might not be a destination, this is technically real. So what you can do for all of our streetcars outside, most people don't know this, but you can actually rent it out for an entire day. I forgot what the rate for it is, but yeah, you're totally free to rent it out. And so most often people would rent it out for like birthday parties, or I've seen some people do it for weddings.
Oh,
Here's one really funny story. I once saw a kid rent one out. He just came here to this museum saying that he just finished one of his tours after renting out one of the streetcars. And he was around like 8 years old. And then his parents told us that they apparently installed a bar into the streetcar.
What?
Which is kind of weird because the 8-year-old's not drinking that. I guess they just installed it for the parents attending. I mean, I guess parents need a break every now and then from their kids.
True.
I really wish I could see that though, because installing a bar on a streetcar does not sound easy, nor is it a very spacious thing to do. But that was apparently a thing that happened with an 8-year-old's birthday party, so that was pretty cool. So I guess if you really wanted to, you could technically have a honeymoon special on any of our streetcars, so if you wish to rent one out for this purpose. I don't think we have one specifically for a birthday party, but totally could change it to this sign whenever you want. Basically something that's rented out. So yeah.
That'd probably be something I could tell my friends. Like, I actually rented out.
Hey, you want to go on a honeymoon together?
No. I actually kind of wish I could bring like one of my friends. Like,
You love him?
maybe.
We don't discriminate here. Love is for everyone, and even in the streetcars, there's no other place like love.
True.
Well, no other place that you can't love, pretty much.
True.
Even in here. So, yeah, we love the streetcars. They love us. We take care of them. And people love inside the streetcar, right? So there's no issue with that. As long as you pay us the proper amount of money. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, thank you for this tour.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed.
I really did.